Hey review family, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morris, the review guy reviewing music for the love of music, and I'm back again to bring you another video. And in this one I'm going to be covering the new White Ward record entitled False Light. Damn, okay, so this one is like something I was really wanting to talk about because anytime there's a record that gains a lot of critical acclaim and is very popular very quickly, I always have a little bit of weariness. And stepping into a band I had never heard about and had no preconceived notions of, hearing them get a ton of hype and people saying it was one of the best records of the year, I did not want to let that influence my opinion. Especially considering I was very weary when I saw it was a black metal record that was over an hour's worth of material. But I couldn't have been more wrong. Every assumption of mine got thrown out of the window when it came to this record. But a little bit of background about them if you're not familiar with them. This is a Ukrainian experimental black metal band. And the fact that a track listing was created during the heat of all of this, I'm not familiar enough with this project to know if this track listing and this record was created during the heat of everything that's been going on, or if this is material that was made maybe a couple of years ago, and is just now being brought together. But regardless, a band that is releasing such a bleak and hopeless and powerful record during this time is a testament to the will and the dedication of the Ukrainian people, and my heart goes out to them. And like I said, I was not really privy to this band prior, so I did some preliminary research and went back in time to listen to some of their other releases, and I thought they were pretty much just okay. Standard, good, solid black metal. I am blown the ever-living fuck away from this record. And before I go into any of it, I want to say one thing. If you are going to listen to this record, take my advice, listen to it in one sitting. This is a cohesive, full-body experience record, and it is best enjoyed in a singular setting. Set aside some time to dedicate to it, you will not regret it. So where do I even begin? One thing about this record is they break up every single track pretty much with these neo-noir breakdowns with the saxophone drenched in reverb and just sounding so damn bleak and lost. But a very impressive feat of this record is how simultaneously they know how to juggle the two. While the avant-garde and experimental nature of this record comes through in full view, they know when they want to up the intensity, up the ante, and what they do best is perform black metal very well. It's pretty much by the numbers, and there are a lot of patterns you can get from it, but for a record that is over an hour's worth of black metal material, I was never unintrigued by this record and never not just fascinated and completely entrenched and borderline intoxicated by everything. The riffs are smart, well produced, the blast beats are frigid, and the vocals are harsh and brittle and boosted in the mix to sound even more distorted and even more harrowing. And when you combine that with the breakup periods of these neo-noir saxophones, just where they take the front and center stage, it basically makes the saxophone play one of two roles. Either number one, it sits shoulder to shoulder with everything else in the composition and provides this demented chant-like ambiance to everything and sort of services as its own atmospheric voice, or it's taking the center stage and providing you with these breather periods where everything will become more expansive, break up, and be this compositional anomaly where it will become haunting, beautiful, eerie, and you won't necessarily know what emotions you're supposed to attach to it or even process it with. The opener track, Leviathan, over 13 minutes of material, and it is its own album in its own right. The amount of progressions and logical and appropriate steps it takes to lure you in and then catapult you to the finish line is beautiful and just a stark contrast that works so damn well. You would think it'd be like oil and water, but it really just fits more like bread and butter. Fits like a damn glove. And going into Salt Paradise, it reminds me of some of my favorite like dark wave and neo-folk, like dark folk records. It reminds me a lot of like Hell Young's record Futha. It just has this understated, monotone vocal delivery drenched in hopelessness and loss. Reminds me a lot of like a no-wave vocalist or something you would get from a band like Daughters on a record like You Won't Get What You Want. And to harken back to what I just said a minute ago, it's sometimes hard to know what you're supposed to process with this record. They are very much intrigued by the notion of nihilism and existentialism and philosophical reasoning, which is much like a lot of other black metal, specifically avant-garde black metal. But there's a level of urgency to everything in the lyrics, and it's just amplified by how ferocious and tenacious the vocalist cries out and bellows out these lyrics. It's commanding, but it's also dejected. And when you put that alongside some of the sung lyrics across this record, they read sort of like a swallow the sun almost. And I understand that a big concern people might have, and I certainly had this, is how do they progress the record? For it being so long, does it feel long-winded and bloated? Do they run out of steam? The answer is simply no, they do not. They don't let off the gas pedal. They do not stop the throttle and adrenaline. Some of the strongest moments of material across this record are in the latter half. The self-titled track is a prime example of that. It really is such a multi-stage exercise of an emotional roller coaster. It starts in the first 5 minutes are so heavy, so in your face, so rip-roaring, and then it hits that snag in the middle where it breaks up, and then right when you think it's just going to go into what you would expect and what has been by the numbers, they gallop into this expansive, melodic, and harmonious riff that just is gorgeously put together, and I can't say enough good things about the mix. Everything is given its audibility, but it has a level of organicness and rawness, specifically with the vocals and the riffs. Even though it's well produced, it feels organic enough to feel real and vivid, and like the canvas that they're working with are made by humans and not just technology and mechanics. It's hard for me not to be so impressed by this record. It is sometimes by the numbers, but it doesn't need to be too technical, because they never let anything stay in one position so long that it becomes tiresome or worn out. The minimalism of the album cover reflects it so well. Even though it can be very simple, and this is not the most experimental or out there avant-garde black metal record, coming from this project, it literally moved me in such an emotionally evocative way that I can't stop coming back to it, and the second that I finished it, I immediately wanted to go back to it again and dissect it in a video. But like I said at the start, listen to it in one go. You have to listen to it in one go. You have to respect it, and you have to listen to it in one go, because it is a story and it's a full body experience, and skimming through does not provide it with the respect it deserves. And it will not give you the same experience as just sitting down, dedicating some time, and letting it wash over you. Damn, like, I get the hype. I really do get the hype. I'm going to be giving this album a 9 out of 10. And that is a wrap. Have you heard this new White Ward record, False Light? If you have, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about it. I would love to discuss this record with you. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is, my name is Jay Morris, the Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.